called No More Snail Mail, Increasing Efficiency in Pitt Mailrooms.
So the initial problem that led us to our project is that students at the university complain about the long package retrieval wait times at the campus when their packages come in.
So the goal of the project was to identify the bottleneck in this process and recommend ways to increase capacity to increase service speed to students.
Our group chose to look at the cycle times for scanning in the packages, which results in sending out emails to notify students that their packages are there to be picked up, and the cycle time for the distribution of the packages once the students arrive to pick up the packages.
We also considered the idle time of the workers in between cycles, as well as the number of workers it took to complete the process.
So we chose to look at Tower's mailroom and Southern mailroom so we can get a holistic view of the process. Employees at the mailrooms have 3 basic jobs. So for reserved problems, the first problem that we noticed was there was clutter around the mailroom. So they had also slow, outdated software. This caused problems like it would take a while to log into the system. Relocation problems with the packages where, say, like in Southern mailroom, whenever a package was incorrectly addressed, they would then have to carry that and many others that were incorrectly addressed down to Tower's mailroom. Lettering on the package racks was all out of order. The lettering system was not consistent at all. And there's an unused storage room in Southern mailroom that just has a bunch of clutter and is not being used to its full potential.
To understand the process, we first looked at the third legs. To scan in the package, the workers were fairly efficient since they utilized both their hands throughout the whole process. Although a lot of the time was taken up typing in the information, they were still using their hands to scan in packages and reach for items simultaneously as the other hands perform tasks. For retrieving the package, we saw something similar. The worker was utilizing both their hands throughout the whole process, but they did still need to type in information when the students come to retrieve packages. They also used the barcode scanning process task multiple times throughout the retrieving process as well. Through work sampling, we found that at Towers it took on average 33 seconds to retrieve to scan in a package, just mainly due to the long time it took to type in the information into the system. As you can see, up around 15 seconds on average was spent typing in the information, while the entire task should take about 30 seconds. Through our observation, we realized that the task was repetitive, so the workers got sidetracked sometimes, and this led to the variation in the times it took to type in information. And so then we saw that the scanning process was more efficient since they had a very streamlined process setup, but they did need to unload the packages before they could start scanning because of their small workspace, and this ended up setting their average time for scanning one package up more than the Towers. To retrieve a package, the worker also had to type in information again. In addition, they had to walk a certain distance to retrieve the package, and this varied depending on where the package was located in the mailroom. And as you can see here, it ranged from anywhere between 3 seconds all the way up to almost 10 seconds, depending on the distance that the worker needed to walk.
So to analyze the processes in the mailroom, we created basic process maps. So this is the one for the workers scanning in the packages. So they have to get the packages from the shipment carrier. Then they open their software, which is STL Intra, and they enter in a lot of information such as first they scan the packing number, and then they have to see that the packing number it's supposed to be in the building that they're in. Then they have to enter the last name on the package, and if the student has the same last name, they have to enter the first name so that it goes to the right student. Then they have to enter the room numbers on the package and make sure they match with the system. And they have to enter the type of package. So if it's like a yellow package or a brown box, they have to enter their initials so that they are held accountable for the information they put in the system. And then they print out a Pitt-specific label for the package, which at the same time sends a notification to the student that their package is ready for pickup. And then another worker will shell the packages. This is the flow process chart, which we also created for both processes within the mailroom. So this one is for the student pickup process. So as you can see, there's a bunch of delays within this process of like the worker waiting for the students to come, and then the worker too looks at the name on the ID while the other one is manually typing. But usually that like interferes with them typing because they're both trying to look at the same ID at the same time. And then they go back to where the packages are shelved while the other worker stays and figure out what package the student's here to pick up. And then basically they yell back to one another what kind of package it is. So that's a delay. Then the other worker will grab the package and bring it to the student. But there is a lot of inefficiencies in this process, as you can see. So another thing we wanted to look at was the facility layout for both Towers mailroom and Sutherland mailroom. This one's for Towers. We did layout flow diagrams where we basically said where people are walking, and we saw if the flows overlapped one another, and we saw that the aisles could become more congested if like there were multiple people in the aisle. It became really congested because it's just a narrow area. And then oversized packages on the floor, we could see really interfered with people trying to flow and do their job. And also the curved shape of towers is not a problem in Sutherland, creates problems.
So to start off with the revised process of what we suggest to implement in the mailrooms at the university. So first, for the scanning and operation, we would want to add the use of tablets. Instead of a second computer, we could just use a tablet that's mobile. For the distribution operation, we would want to implement a card reader where students swipe their IDs, a touchscreen pen pad because the pen pads right now being used are kind of difficult to use, and to implement a fast food style TV that can show the order what the students' packages are. So right here is the fast food order screen that I explained earlier. So essentially, there would be a screen that the worker who is retrieving the packages can just look at and see the name, residence hall, package, and room number of the students who have swiped in. This would exclude the possibility of miscommunication from the worker at the window who is dealing with the students and the worker who is retrieving the packages. And also, here's an example of an iPad and the new platform that we would use to make it easier to enter students' information. So here it shows the process of scanning in traditionally with a computer. So you have a worker picks up the package from the cart, they give it to the table where the computer is, a different worker puts information in about the package, and then the sticker is put on, and so on and so on. But with the mobile device, one worker picks up the package from the cart, they scan it, they put everything in the system while at the same place without having to move, and then when they're finished the registration part, they just put it in a bin and set aside that it's been scanned in. For the distribution operation, we would have the student come in obviously to the window, they would swipe their IDs themselves, their information would show up on the computer, and the worker just has to confirm that the person who swiped is the person on the picture on the computer. Then once it's confirmed, the order or the package information shows up on a TV screen, a second worker gets the package come back to the window, and then student would put in their initial instead of a whole name into the pen pad, and then students get to go with the package. The initial recommendation that we have is to implement the 5S system, which is a system used in the workplace. Essentially, by implementing the program, it'll make the workplace a lot safer and more organized, and it'll make the responsibilities of the worker a lot easier. So for example, at towers, this is what one of the computer desktops looks like, where the workers scan in the packages. As you can see here, a lot of the packages are very disorganized and on top of each other. You have random papers, random water bottles, and just clutter that's unnecessary. And our proposed setup is it's a steady flow going from left to right. So another improvement that can be made, there are a lot of large packages that are placed on the floor at towers in Sutherland because there's not a lot of space to place them at. But this is a safety hazard. We want to implement paint labels that will set a perimeter of where the boxes should be, and this way workers can see where the boxes should be.
As far as the software update that we want to implement, for the small update, this would allow the student worker to fix their initials, fix the carrier, and fix the model, which is the type of package. These shouldn't be too hard to implement in a software update. This would reduce the time roughly 34% needed to scan in a package. And if we look at how many packages the mailrooms get over the course of a year, this would amount to roughly $4,500 in potential labor cost savings. The bigger update would allow the software to automatically enter the last name and where it was shelved based off the barcode and the student's last name and the dorm address. This would essentially reduce all typing needed to zero, which would result in a potential savings of about $7,500 over the course of the year. As far as the cost of implementation for everything we've talked about, so if we implemented all of this, it would cost less than $1,000, and like I said earlier, just for scanning or just for package deliveries, it could save up to $7,500. So it's really not that much in retrospect.